So, this week in television has been a very disappointing week, especially if you were either a fan of Sleepy Hollow or Reign. In both shows, the writers decided to completely F the bed in one way or another. This video will be dealing specifically with Sleepy Hollow, and I'll be doing another video that will be posted probably a few minutes from now on Reign. So if you're a fan of Reign, check out that video. If you're just here for Sleepy Hollow, this will be this one. But just to warn you, both opinions are going to be negative and overall very upset because the events in both were bullshit. So why have they decided to make Katrina so fucking useless? I still do not understand this, and I know that there are some Katrina fans who are happy for Katrina, that she's gotten screen time, that they're showing more about her relationship with Ichabod, but all I keep thinking is just how terribly written she is, how her magic shows a level of incompetence that even Neville Longbottom could really accomplish more than she could, and the fact that Ichabod treats her like crap. And you know, this season has really pulled me away from Ichabod. You know, I still like it on a level because I love how they work as characters together and how they fit. But what upsets me about Ichabod and Katrina is just how rude and inconsiderate Ichabod is to Katrina. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Katrina is highly incompetent, and I think that there's very shady things about her that should be called out. But Ichabod also is being so intimidated by her relationship with Abraham in a way that's just so ridiculous. I'm like, she went to Purgatory for you. She gave up having a relationship with Henry, who I can't stand either, for you, and yet the moment that she talks to another man, you're all of a sudden like, whoa, I don't know if I can trust you with this. I'm just like, there are so many other things that she has done and has failed to fucking do that you should definitely be aware of that. But to have it be like, oh, you're hanging out with Abraham, I don't know if I can trust your feelings, because really that's what upsets him more than anything else, because he made excuses for the thing with Mary, he made excuses for everything else that she's done, but this whole thing with Abraham is really what makes him upset, and that to me is just stupid and sexist and dumb on his part, because Katrina, for all of her faults, really does care about you for some reason, and you should at least be better treating her for that reason, if anything else. But overall, he's just being a dick, and Katrina, I just don't understand why. She's supposed to be a powerful witch. She has no powers at any time. Her spells are basic, and even when she's supposed to be saving fucking Frank, she can't even do that. She's like, my powers are weakening because of Purgatory. Your powers are weak all the time, girl. You never have anything done. Never. I can't stand it. And then everything that's weak about her is so gendered. Her whole focus on maternity is ridiculous. I mean, Henry is your son, but you didn't raise him. You're not going to be able to take him hunting or fishing or baseball. Man, it's over, okay? He signed with Moloh. The fact that you guys don't understand that just confounds me to the end. And, you know, I used to watch Once Upon a Time. I still watch the Regina scenes because I love her. But, you know, us Evil Regals, we used to be so pissed off because the one thing that they kept pushing and that we hated was that Emma and her biology somehow made her a better fit for Henry than Regina, who had raised him for the 11, however many years the writers decide from season to season that she had him. And it's the same thing here. The only reason why they are fighting this hard for Henry is because he's biologically theirs. But beyond that, he has shown no care for you, no love for you, and any capability. But yet you are so stuck on stupid that you have deluded yourself to believe that you can somehow save him from his demons. And him destroying Moloh, Henry, in the end, was so disappointing because it came out of nowhere. And you can say that, oh, seeing him when he was crying that one time when Moloh was being mean to him or whatever, but it's like, you're working for a demon. Did you forget that? I mean, I don't know what kind of weird Dickensian issues that Henry has as an orphan, but he really has deluded himself to believing that Moloh is his father figure, and I would assume that part of that delusion would be seeing him for himself and finding pleasure in that. But he seems to just be like flipping the switch of a hat, like, no, my real daddy loved me? I didn't realize that after last season and this season that he cared about me. He said it repeatedly for no reason. My real daddy loves me? Come on. Really? Really? And this whole thing with Katrina and her ridiculous magical pregnancy and then everything with Moloh, that was just ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand why she would feel that kind of attachment to something that she knows isn't hers. And to have that be such a long writing plot that she's like, I failed to kill him. all this time because he just looked so damn cute. It reminded me of, like, in comparison, if you've never seen Xena, in season 3 of Xena, Gabrielle gets impregnated by a demonic spirit, and she gives birth to a baby that she ends up naming Hope. And the baby is evil, but she doesn't realize that, even though Xena tells her. She gives the baby away. She tries to save it Moses style. The baby grows up really quickly, ends up killing Xena's son. Gabrielle then realizes that she fucked up, but they come back together through the power of song. And then later on in the climax of the season, the evil child has grown up to be kind of like a Gabrielle clone. And in the end, to save Xena, Gabrielle sacrifices herself and Hope's life to save her friend's life. Because she realized, because she's a logical person, that just because she gave birth to this child does not mean that it has a claimancy over her, because the child is clearly evil. I don't understand, like so you see that you gave birth to the Antichrist and you're just kind of like, oh, it's so cute. Smother the shit. Smother that baby. Because it's not yours, it's demonic, it's gonna kill you, using common fallacies. I don't understand it. And unless they all end up in a pit at the end of the season, I really could care less. They have really dropped the ball on writing these characters and writing them in any conceivable way, because they just make stupid decisions. Meanwhile, my queen, my savior, Abigail Mills, keeps putting shit together. I mean, she's willing to sacrifice her own mother, her life, for this mission. And she has been bringing the realness all season long. And it's so upsetting that she is doing this and being so smart and so capable, while Ichabod is just being a goddamn fool, but has all these things to himself, all these plot threads to himself, all these things. It's just ridiculous, because at the end of the day, what I think has been so good about seeing the Sleepy Hollow fandom complain about Abby's treatment is that they recognize, and we are recognizing, how important Abby is, and that there are tons of Ichabod Crane type characters. We only got one Abby Mills, and that's really who a lot of us are here for, because, you know, she, along with Guinevere from BBC's Merlin, played by my queen Angel Colby, are just two of the characters I've always wanted to see in sci-fi and fantasy, because in so much of it, black bodies, and I'm thinking about black bodies specifically, not excluding the rest, but just because that's my perspective and I don't want to speak for anybody else, we are just cast aside so frequently, and we do not have a place in the genre, because, you know, we're either just side characters or tokens, and we get killed off with so much ease that there is a bitterness for us with the genre. So when we find shows that really care about us, like Sleepy Hollow, and characters that really stand out, like Abby, it hurts when those characters get sidelines. And then we have Frank Irving, that whole mess. They could have found a better way to handle that. The sad part is that retrospectively, thinking about how Frank's story was written and thinking about this episode, he had all the signs of Negro red shirt. Because, as we all know, those of us who are people of color and watch these shows, if there is a character who has gotten 0 screen time, gets 0 lines usually, and then all of a sudden gets a lot of lines and screen time in a really impactful way, that means he's gonna die. We see it all the friggin' time. And this was Frank's turn. And it's like this season, he sold his soul, he went to jail, all of these things to protect his family, who we haven't seen the entire season. And without having them, we lose another female character of color, a female character of color who was not able-bodied. So we lost 2 kinds of representation there. We also lose, you know, having a man of color being seen in a really heroic, courageous way, up until he sacrificed himself, of course, because that we can bring him back for. And just, it didn't have to be that way, you know, and it means so much less because he hasn't done anything the entire season. There is no way that can be acceptable at all. Now, people are saying hopefully he'll be brought back to life, maybe since war has been destroyed and, you know, Henry has turned against Moloch, that maybe Frank's gonna be the new soldier of war. Maybe. We'll see. But either way, this is a disappointment. And what makes it disappointing, and I know that people are like, but you know, it's just one time, we got Abby, we got Jenny, who are related. One of the things that people understand, like, we're not just talking about Sleepy Hollow. It's like when I talked about Hale dying on Lost Girl. It's not just Lost Girl. This is a systematic issue throughout sci-fi and fantasy. Because how many times do we watch a show and they show us a really diverse picture of the cast, and then next thing you know, oop, person of color died, oop, they're dead, oop, they don't get any storyline, oop, they're gone. All the time. Lost Girl, that had killed off no main characters for its 4-year run, decides the one character that it's gonna kill off for the drama, for realsies, is gonna be the black character. The only minority character that they have in the entire show that actually is part of the main group. Gone. Was he in a lot of episodes that showed his impact towards group besides his relationship with Kenzie? Nope. Just gone. All the time. And so this isn't just about Frank, although losing Frank is terrible in its own way. This is about every single time it happens, and it's just treated like, oh, it's for the drama, it's for the story, it's for the arc. Why are we always killed for the story and for the arc? You couldn't have killed off anybody else? Just had to be him. And for the other thing too is that to have it be characters of color who are not related. This sort of thing. So we know Abby's black, and she's not, you know, ambiguously brown black. She's black. Right? So Jenny has to be black. Her parents have to be black. And usually in these kind of shows, it's like there is the black family, the black main character, and her family brings in the diversity. Bonnie Bennett, you know, she's black, so anyone that's related to her has to be black by default. So to have Frank, who has no relation to Abby, also be a man of color and have his own family, that brings in another layer of people. It brings more diversity to the show. And it was much more diverse in season 1 than it is right now in season 2. That's just a fact. And so we're not just mad for Frank. We're mad for all the characters of color that have been shitted on. Because for every combo breaker there is, like Gwen on BBC Merlin, who did manage to make it out there alive, praise the Lord. Thank you, Rachel Colby. There are plenty of ones who end up dead, reduced, either get no storyline or just treated as a plot device. And we're tired of it. And we thought that Sleepy Hollow was going to be different from those other shows. And it just ended up being the exact same thing. And it's disappointing. It's gross. And we have a right to be mad about it.